Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. I've set up another little competition here between 6 contenders with some slight variations in each, and I made some discoveries, got some information that I thought was kind of interesting. It raises some questions about inserters and their culture and their wants and needs and desires. But we'll get to that a little bit later. To tell you the honest truth, I'm a little bit sick of looking at these sushi setups. It's all I've been looking at in Factorio for like the last 4 days. So we'll just continue to let that run a little bit and talk a little bit about belts. There was a discussion last night on belts and counters and things, and I realized that I knew what to do with them, but I didn't know why or how. So I got to looking into it a little bit deeper, and I think I finally get it. It's kind of like chain signals for me. I don't know. I just couldn't wrap my head around it until I actually sat down and said, okay, we can figure this out. And you may already know all this stuff. If so, I apologize. But if you don't, like me, and you think it's all just black magic, it's good information to have. Anything about the little tiny mechanics of the game is good to know. So you may have noticed that whenever I'm setting up counting on a line, I always quote-unquote load the belt, just like this, where we actually have items inside the guy that is reading it. And I've always done that, and the reason I've always done that is because that's the way you do it to make it work. To give you an example, I've got this set to release 20 fish on the belt, so let's just see what happens if we start it from the beginning like this one. Okay, send them down there. They're going to go into this chest, and we have 12. 12 fish. Not 20. Not 20 like we wanted. This one is set up to do the exact same thing, or actually, technically, oh no, we got the counter over here. This one's set up to do the same thing, so let's let it go. And we have 20. So that's why I've always loaded the belts. Now, what I always assumed was that it was counting the items as the fish or item was leaving the belt segment. That's what always made sense to me. But now that I think about it, that doesn't make any sense at all because never mind. It doesn't make sense. What the best I can tell, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong here, is what is happening is as the items enter the belt segment, so once they cross this line right here, they're being counted. And once you get 20 that go across this line right here, the belt stops, but it stops the entire segment. So that traps 8 fish in here. So of the 20 that were counted, 8 of them get trapped right here, and the rest of them go down here, which gives us the magic number of 12, like we did on our first test. So basically, so what we're doing to keep this count accurate is putting 8 fish in there to offset the 8 that are cut or that are caught in here, so that count remains accurate. It's kind of goofy if I think about it, but now that I understand what's going on, I can understand the advice given to me about them. So let's take a look at one of those. This is a recommendation by Cornosian, who pointed out kind of the problem and kind of brought all this stuff up. All right, so we've got our item right here. So the problem is that we're counting and stopping with the exact same one, and we don't want to do that. We want to go ahead and break that up into 2 networks, or to two belt segments, and we want to count with one and stop with the other. Now, does it matter which one? I believe it does. Let's go ahead and set that up. We just won't set it yet. We want it to count as it enters, so I think we want this one to be the counter. And then we want this one, just copy all that over, to not count, but to enable disable, right? So we want to stop it right there. We don't want to enable disable this one. We want to read as it comes into this and stop it in the belt behind. right? Makes sense to me, I think. Let's see, are we zeroed out here? We are. All those conditions are the same, so once we place this out here, $20. And that works, and I don't have to do the goofy stuff in order to load the belts. And that is the way that I like to play this. So thank you for that suggestion. I hope that was useful for somebody, as it was for me. It's good stuff. There's also some other issues you can run into. Cornosian made a video on it, and it's very good at pointing that out. But it has to do, the best I could tell is that whenever the input trickles in, it messes with the offset that you have here. And that can cause some crazy things to occur that definitely you do not want. The count's getting way off. And I'm not 1,000% sure something like that hasn't happened before in this factory, now that I'm looking at it. Because our inputs are very, very much trickling in. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and roll the intro, and we'll look into some deep philosophical questions as well as some other things. Okay, so let's take a couple of minutes and look at what I have set up here. Down here, I've got the buffered setup from the last episode. That's been running. These have been running for about 4 hours, I think, 4.5 maybe. And I took a little sample at 1 hour, actually 1 hour after the rocket was launched, in order to get kind of a read here. But this is our first setup that we did, the 5-belt sushi with no real special whistles and bells going on. This was our original one, the original setup with the mini sushi belts going. That had the low density structures on this side. The underperformer, I should say. This is the one that we improved, and it's looking pretty good. And this is the exact same as down here, except this is the one that I was tweaking the numbers with. This is what I ended the last episode with, putting a little bit more copper and stuff like that on the line. And this one I put down. It's an exact copy of this one. And I was going to use this to kind of test maybe some tweaking to see if we could improve based off of this one down here just by tweaking some numbers. But I forgot to do that and let it run for an hour, and found something kind of interesting with that, and decided just to leave it. So these two are exactly the same, exact copies of each other. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that we are getting. Down here, we've got 3.5K science has been consumed, or at least been put into the labs. That's what this number is. I would like this to be a little bit more precise. I guess I could get the Nixie Tubes mod. That could probably tell us a little bit better. I don't know of any other way to get that number out. It says 3.6K. That could be 3.601 or 3.699. So there's a plus or minus 100 going on there. We're at 4.2K here. So, yeah, this one is still outperforming. At the hour mark, this one was getting about 15, a little bit over 15 science a minute is what that was pushing out. So I have no reason to believe that this hasn't been just remarkably consistent. This one up here, 2.0K, which is kind of what we've gone to expect. This guy's the underperformer. This one is up to 3.7K, so we're still lagging, but we're lagging, where's this one? We're lagging about 500 now, which isn't too shabby. The one that I did the improvement on, however, is at 3.1K. So my improvement wasn't really an improvement. I think what I probably should have done, I don't know if it's a belt space thing or what. I'm wondering if it's just, it's inconsistent. I increased copper and iron. There's a ton of iron and copper on the line. There's probably other things that need that I probably just need to increase it across the board. I wish there was a way to do like floating point math. And there is kind of, with these, but it's complicated. But be able to like increase the what we're doing by a constant number. And I may look into that. That would make life so much easier. But anyway, on to the interesting thing that I found is that this one is at 3.1K. This one is at 3.0K. Now, that's weird to me, right? That's really weird to me. I would expect that to be virtually identical. I mean, they have the exact same setup. Everything is set up exactly the same. All the inserters, they've got their own independent power sources, so it's nothing like that. They were started at the same time, and by started at the same time, I mean just... It's really, really kind of strange. The only variation I can think of is that I placed the belt with the creative blueprint, so I would assume all those belts got placed at the exact same tick. I would assume. So everything would have started at the same time. I don't know, maybe 100. 100 seems like a pretty big variance. Of course, that could be up to 200. We don't know. But yeah, it seems like a lot to me. And it's actually kind of starting to catch back up. There's been bigger gaps throughout the last couple of hours. I think there was one that went up to like 500 at one point. It was really kind of crazy. And I'm not sure really what could have caused that. The only thing that I can think of is that these inserters actually are exerting some sort of free will. That these two inserters right here and these two inserters right here are not copies of each other. They each have their own preferences of what they want to grab and when they want to grab it. Or perhaps there is some kind of random seed going on. Maybe something like one of these filter inserters. Boy, I guess it wouldn't make much sense for any of that to be random, I don't think. Well, there has to be some little crazy variable in there. I refuse to believe that inserters are not fully deterministic. But there's something goofy going on. That makes me wonder if I were to... I guess the question I have is that if I were to start this on a map and test it for 5 hours and then go back and run the same test again, would I get the same number? I would expect to, but that's making me think that maybe it wouldn't. And that kind of more leads to, is all this testing in order to try to create something that is as optimized as possible, is that just a fool's errand? And it's going to vary no matter what. If we ran this exact same test again, would we get the exact same results? I don't know. I do not know. What I do know is that I am going to spend the weekend not looking at this stuff, and I'm going to go try to play with something else. Like, what if we looked into delivering items to this? You know what? Actually, before we do that, I want to do a little bit of testing. Let's pull out some railroad track. There was a change that happened. I just saw it in the patch notes. I forget what number I'm on. I think I'm on .30, .31. But it used to be that you could do it like, you could lay the tracks out like that, or you could hit shift and do it in a ghost mode. Of course, it's really kind of hard to tell, but you can see the ghost, right? So what changed is that, oops. What changed is that if you started out in this mode, you were kind of stuck in this mode, which really kind of stunk if you if you were going along and you ran into some rocks, right? It wouldn't let you do it. What change happened is that I can now hit shift with this mode active, and it placed the ghosts for us. And then I can go back into the regular mode. Now, I like this mode better. It's more intuitive to me. Whenever you get the ghost planner out there, things can start to get a little bit crazy sometimes. Actually, this seems a lot more calmer. But I do the big drawback to that was if you ran across rocks or something like that, you'd have to stop and then shift and go into ghost place mode or use your deconstructor and then get back in it. I think that's an awesome change, and it was virtually written for me, I believe. All right, I wanted to set something up here. I'm all about setting up little scenarios here and making the guys fight it out. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do double-headed trains or not, because it's something that I haven't really messed with before in Factorio. But it seems like it'd be a good candidate here because we do have the train station is going to need to be tileable as well, and we need to fit it in between those two beacons. And just a single line coming in there seems like it would be fantastic. What I don't know, however, is how much speed is a factor for those guys. Let's go ahead and grab some railroady things, some railroady bits. So I want to let's put a station there. And let's come down here a ways, and we will put in another station. Maybe like right there. We will call that A. And, oops. Okay, we want this on the other side of the track, right? And you will be B. All right, and we want a train. Train. That would be a logistic thing. And let's grab some stuff. Well, not. Hey, got an achievement. Fantastic. How many cars are we going to need? We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the fluids. Yes, that is correct. At least I think we can do it with 6. Okay, we're going to have to get some more space there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very nice. All right, and that is a single-headed train. That'll work great. I want to fill you with some kind of fuel. Does it matter? Let's just do solid fuel. All right. And we want to set your station. You're going to go to A, and you are going to go to B. You are going to go A. You're going to wait here until actually, we can just do it like that, and no, we need a circuit condition. We want to do that off of a circuit condition. You are going to wait there until a circuit condition. We want, let's just say green greater than 0. All right, and we'll get a combinator down here. Okay, and we will set that to output a green signal and hook that up to the station. All right, we'll set you on automatic mode. Okay. All right, let's try this again. This time with a little bit more feeling, I guess. All right, let's take him off because he might have been actually past the station mark. You are going to go to A. You are going to go to B. You're going to wait at A until circuit condition of green greater than 0. Oh, I had this chrominator turned on. That's the problem. Duh. All right, and automatic mode, fuel. All right, and you'll wait right there until that is going. Okay, great. Things. There we go. All right, I want to blueprint all of this, and I believe we should be able to grab the trains now. Yes, and the station names. Fantastic. And let's put that right here. And here. And here. Okay. Okay, so we'll have you... And there and there. We'll take that out, and we'll put you as a double engine one. You will be one engine that way, one engine that way, and you will be double-headed with engines facing both sides. All right, and we need just a ton of fuel. Yeah, there's a keyboard shortcut that makes the UI smaller, and I seem to have discovered that on accident. I don't know what's going on, and I don't like it. But here, everybody take some fuel. Very good. And you should all have the same schedule. Very nice. We should be able to wire these up. Very good. And we should be able to turn this guy on, and we'll just have a little train race and see which one wins. Sigh. Oh, if you didn't catch that, I didn't put them on automatic mode. If you ever wonder what I do in between episodes on a Factorio series, this is pretty much it. All right, it's a weekend episode. Not very many people watch those, so that'll be fine. All right, automatic mode, automatic mode, automatic mode, automatic mode. All right, and I've seen the double locomotive happen. I've always assumed that there was a weight thing involved with trains, or are they all constant? That is the question that I'm looking at right now. All right, and I think that is my answer. Which actually wasn't quite what I expected. I think if I saw that correctly, this guy was in first place. It has 2 engines pulling it, which is kind of what I would expect because it has 2 engines pulling it. This guy came in second. It had 2 engines pulling it, but it's also dragging 2 engines. So I was actually expecting this one to come in second place, but this one I think came in third. And this one, the double-headed train, came in fourth. Okay, interesting. So I think it may be worth it. I don't know if... I'm all about the speed. I'm all about the speed. So I think just looking at it, I think this guy right here is going to be our winner. So we need to make space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars. And that's good. I mean, it can be as long as it wants to be. Just as long as it fits in between this beacon, and it will be just fine. And I think that will be not a problem at all. Well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. In the next episode, I want to work on building a train station. I don't know. I don't know about these setups. I'll tell you what. I'm leaning toward actually going in and applying this one right here into the actual base itself, just because it's been performing the best, and that's really all that it is. It's really just about the number. I'm going to go ahead and post the blueprints of these multiple setups. If you guys want to check them out and fix them for me. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and post the blueprints to these. And if you want to check out one or your favorite didn't win, you can pull that out and take a look at it or use it in your own factory or do whatever you want with it. But I'll put those up, and I will see you in the next episode, where we'll work on some train station stuff and take a break from looking at sushi stuff going around. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.